This video is going to show you how to complete the problems on this page 5 out of your math book. So the first problem says, during Jose's physical education class today, students visited activity stations. Next to each station was a chart depicting how many calories, on average, would be burned by completing the activity. So that word depicting, in case you ever see it in the future, that just means showing or displaying. So next to each station there was a chart that showed how many calories would be burned by completing the activity. So it looks like at this station right here, the activity was jumping rope. So in interpreting what this information says, it seems like if you jumped rope for 1 minute, you would burn 11 calories. If you jumped rope for 2 minutes, you'd burn 22 calories. To burn 44 calories, you had to jump rope for 4 minutes. Sorry. Okay, so letter A, let's answer this. Is the number of calories burned proportional to time? How do you know? So in examining this chart, I kind of view it also as kind of like a horizontal table. So this would be 0, 0, 1, 11, 2, 22, 3, 33, 4, 44. So I'm just going to go ahead for my own sake. I'm just going to label it X and Y, okay? And to find the unit rate, when there's a unit rate, you know that the situation is proportional. So I want to see if there's any patterns in here, if there's a pattern that I see. So to find unit rate, you remember that unit rate is Y divided by X, your dependent variable divided by your independent variable. And since I have this labeled right here, to figure out what's going on here, I'd go Y divided by X. And you want to skip this one right here, because if you go 0 divided by 0, it won't work in your calculator. It's an undefined answer. So we have 11 divided by 1. Well, 11 divided by 1 is 11. So to go from X to Y, I just went 1 times 11 to get this answer, okay? So 22 divided by 2, well, that's 11. So to go from X to Y, I just multiplied X by 11. 33 divided by 3 was 11, so I multiplied that X value times 11, so 3 times 11 to get 33. And then 44 divided by 4 is 11, so I multiplied this X value by 11 to get 44. So because I have the same exact unit rate right here, I know that this is a proportional relationship. So I would say yes, because there is a consistent, and it's consistent because see how it's times 11 each time, each X value you're multiplying it by 11. It's a consistent unit rate. And you should know, hopefully by now, unit rate, another word you could say is constant of proportionality. I know your book says this a lot. Oops, I need to spell it right. Constant of proportionality. Okay? And this unit rate here is he burns 11 calories per minute. And if you're like, well, how do you know it's 11 calories per minute? We can set this up over here. Y divided by X, that gives you the unit rate. And I'm just going to pick one of the values from this horizontal looking table here. I can go 11, which is calories, for 1 minute. And that's the unit rate because I know it's over 1. And if you're like, well, what if I use this one over here? It would still work too. So 44 calories for 4 minutes. And you know that's not the unit rate because 1's not in the denominator. So set up your equivalent fraction for the proportion. And looks like we're going to divide by 4, divide by 4. 44 divided by 4 is 11. Yep. And you know that's the unit rate because 1's in the denominator. So Jose can burn 11 calories per minute. Okay, that's the unit rate. Okay, constant proportionality is that, or that. Okay, letter B, if Jose jumped rope for 6.5 minutes, how many calories would he expect to burn? There's a couple ways you can do this. Since you know the unit rate, you can do that. So I want you to show both ways. So the unit rate you know is 11 calories are burned per minute. And they're saying that Jose is going to jump rope for 6.5 minutes. So since I see minutes, minutes would go in the denominator. And you've got to think, how did you go from 1 to 6.5? Well, to get there, we had to multiply by 6.5, okay? So 1 times 6.5 is 6.5. So if you do that to the denominator, you must also do that, multiply by 6.5 in the numerator. So 11 times 6.5, oops, type it in correctly, is 71.5, and label it calories. Okay, so it would be this right there as your answer. But the other way I want you to show it, because I want you to have flexibility in how you solve problems, because there's really not one single way to do these types of problems, is you can go back up to this here table display, and it told us that he was jumping rope for 6.5 minutes. So I don't see 6.5 minutes, but you can totally add it. Okay, and well, what was the pattern here? We took the x value and we multiplied it by 11 to get this y value. So all you do is you multiply it by 11, and I just put a notch there. So I got to go 6.5 times 11, and you do get 71 5/10 calories. So you can do that method too. All right, bye.